Back in the 1920s, Henry Ford, founder of the Ford Motor Company, bucked the norm of a 6-day work week by establishing the now standard 5-day, 40-hour week, with no loss of pay for having Saturdays off. Now, more than 100 years later, the 4-day work week looks to be gaining traction across the U.S.
A 2023 Bankrate survey found 81% of the full-time workforce would prefer it. And from the employer perspective, research by ResumeBuilder.com suggests companies may be warming up to the idea as well. 20% of surveyed business leaders said their company currently offers at least some workers a 4-day week, and 41% said they have plans to implement it.
But is it a viable solution to worker burnout or a productivity pitfall? Reporter Heather Graf takes an in-depth look.
There's probably at least 5 active projects that I work on at a time.
Gabby Machaver loves a lot of things about her job at Friendly Design Company.
It's been fantastic.
And that includes her schedule.
So you're working an 8-hour day, 4 days a week.
Yeah.
Would you ever go back or want to go back to a 5-day work week?
I honestly don't think so. I think I'm really content with a 4-day work week, and I have loved having Fridays to kind of wake up on my own schedule.
Gabby's bosses at this Washington, D.C. based design studio implemented a Monday through Thursday work week starting in the summer of 2022.
It seemed like it could work out based on the type of work that we do and the tools that we use.
But when project director Elisa Schrader first looked into it, she admits not everyone was on board.
I recall one reaction, which was, we have so much work, how can we possibly fit it into 4 days?
I think that was me. I think it probably was me. I was skeptical.
That's Friendly Design's co-founder, Ross Nover.
So much of our work starts from a place of how long will this take us to do? And so to say we're going to have less time to do it felt scary.
Still, he agreed to try it, and so this office joined about 40 other companies across the U.S. and Canada for a coordinated pilot program run by an organization called 4-Day Week Global.
I believe in the 4-day work week because, I have seen hundreds of companies around the world in all kinds of industries do it.
Alex Sujung Kim Pang helps lead the team at 4-Day Week Global and has partnered with researchers at the University of Cambridge and Boston College for a series of trials stretching from North America to the United Kingdom, Portugal, Brazil, South Africa, Australia, and New Zealand.
Everybody we work with has the aim of sort of cutting working hours for everybody without cutting anybody's salary.
To date, he says they're seeing outcomes that are overwhelmingly positive. For instance, in the study that Friendly Design took part in, they found 89% of companies are definitely planning to continue the 4-day work week, with the remaining 11% leaning in that direction. And among employees, that same study reports 7 in 10 workers experienced reductions in burnout, while 95% wanted to continue the 4-day work week.
So retention goes up, recruitment goes up quite a bit. The benefits of what fundamentally is a really simple intervention, right? Giving people more time.
Results that Maryland state lawmaker Vaughn Stewart says he was inspired by.
I see this breathtaking, startling study from them. And so when I got that, that's when I started to say, I wonder if there's something we could do with regards to state legislation.
In early 2023, Stewart introduced House Bill 181 that would offer state tax credits to Maryland employers who experiment with a 4-day work week.
If employers were willing to take that leap of faith, we thought that it would be in the state government's interest to give them a tax credit to motivate them to do that.
Am I correct that your legislation was first of its kind in the U.S.?
Yeah, absolutely, you're correct. I've gotten emails from colleagues across the country that essentially want to copy our bill.
And Stewart says those inquiries kept coming, even as his initial attempts here in Maryland were unsuccessful.
This idea was in some ways too big and too new and too crazy for a lot of my colleagues to wrap their head around. It challenges really norms that a lot of people grew up with.
Despite that, he's not giving up and plans to introduce an updated proposal in the next legislative session.
Do you think that the 4-day work week is the future?
Yes. I think inevitably we're going to move to shortened work weeks. I think the question is really when rather than if.
But at the Johns Hopkins Carey Business School, Professor of Practice Rick Smith shared a different perspective.
I would definitely advocate that this is not a silver bullet.
What are some of your biggest concerns with this concept?
That it doesn't apply equally to everyone in every situation. In other words, for some employers, that's problematic. If we're running a retail organization, if we're running a hospital, other things that require staff to be there.
Instead, in this post-pandemic world, Smith suggests the answer to work-life balance issues might be more nuanced and vary by industry.
Varying the number of work hours in a day, or taking a large break in the middle of the day, or using Wednesdays as a work from home day.
In the meantime, he believes more study of the 4-day work week is needed.
I think the key aspect is looking at the productivity over a long period of time.
I could do it after this.
And that brings us back to the Friendly Design Company in DC.
I found that my time management is even better.
We already knew Gabby is happy with the shortened work week. But what about Ross, the company co-founder, who had serious worries about fitting 5 days of work into 4?
It won you over.
It very much did. We're still accomplishing the same amount of work, really just in less time. If anything, we're just cutting out a lot of the nonsense around it.
No regrets in this office, and he says no plans to switch back.
You really just have to try it and see how it goes, and I think it is very much worth trying.
Reporter Heather Graf joins us now. Heather, what about at the federal level? Any discussions there on the future of the work week?
Tisha, a congressman out of California has introduced legislation he calls the 32-Hour Workweek Act. Now, it would not limit the number of hours someone can work in a single week, but employers would be required to pay overtime for anything above 32 hours.
Heather, has it gotten any support?
Lee, a few of the big labor unions did endorse it, but I can tell you that bill was first introduced in 2021, then reintroduced in 2023, and so far it has failed to advance in Congress. Meanwhile, the organization 4-Day Week Global says it's working on some more long-term studies. To see their latest results from companies at the 12-month mark, just go to 4dayweek.com.